Welcome back to With the First Pick here on CBS Sports Network. One last reader question, Rick. Here we go. If you could both make a bold prediction for the biggest surprise reach and the biggest faller in round one, who would you pick? That's from @NikkiCC20. Biggest reach, Rick, that we could potentially see in round one.
Well, I would go with what you just said. If Bo Nix goes at 12, so that would be one that would be a huge reach. I think, in my opinion, I don't think I have him develop until the second or third round at the highest. But there's when 6 teams need quarterbacks of the future, there is a chance that someone's going to take a reach on a quarterback, and that quarterback to me would be Bo Nix.
I'm thinking back to the draft in which Kenny Pickett was the only first rounder among the quarterbacks. That's the Matt Corral, Malik Willis, Des Ridder draft. Is Bo Nix better than that group of quarterbacks?
Well, according to the last question, he threw for 77,000 touchdowns and 52,000 yards and only 3 interceptions. So I would say that he has more experience. Like Ridder, I really questioned his accuracy when he came out. Same with your guy that ended up going to Tennessee.
That's Pete's guy.
Everybody said you were like all over that guy. You had him in the top 10.
All right, go ahead. Continue.
So I think that Bo Nix would probably be higher than those guys.
And I mentioned that because it felt like the league understood that they weren't going to overdraft those quarterbacks for the reasons you spoke with, and that's only why Kenny Pickett made it at pick 20, and now he's been traded from the Steelers to Philadelphia. All right, thank you for that question, Nikki CC. Let's go to some bold predictions. Oh, no, we have to do fallers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fallers. I'm going to do my faller. If Bo Nix is a riser/reach, my faller is potentially J.J. McCarthy. Like, where does he fit into this situation if a team trades up if the Drake May is there, and is that still a Minnesota situation? Like, what's going to happen with J.J.?
Well, okay, now you're getting me confused. Were we talking about reach? Were we talking about risers? We're talking about fallers? Where are we at now?
We're on fallers.
Okay, because my risers that we didn't talk about were Brian Murphy II, and you've been on his bandwagon over the last 2 weeks and potentially going to Atlanta at number 8. And I think J.C. Latham, because no one was talking about him early during this process, and he continues to close the gap on the potential top 2 offensive tackles. So my faller would be Olu Fashanu. And last year we were talking about him potentially being a top 5 pick. If J.C. Latham sneaks up in there and there's a run on some receivers and quarterbacks, you can see him potentially fall maybe to 10 or out of the top 10, where last year he would have been a for sure top 10 pick.
And it feels like the Saints would be a prime candidate to try to go get him. See if he slip a little bit. 10 isn't necessarily falling, but I asked you this earlier today. Let's say Olu did come out last year. If you're the Bears, are you thinking long and hard about taking him first overall, or are you still trading down?
Yeah, I'm still trading down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they got Darnell Wright, they have Braxton Jones.
Yeah.
They got a ton, and they turned that into guys who played a lot. And so I mentioned my follower, J.J. McCarthy, potentially. We'll see how this quarterback situation shakes out if Bo Nix does, in fact, end up going to Denver. And then, of course, Michael Penix Jr. And I've talked to folks that think that he could be in a Will Levis-type situation where if he gets past the middle of the first round, maybe he lasts until the second. I don't get it, but it's not. Do you think Michael Penix Jr. hears his name called on Thursday? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think, like I said, there's 6 teams that need quarterbacks, and I think that potentially they're all like Michael Penix Jr. And I said this, and I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't talked to anyone, but can you imagine that he keeps, let's say he goes past the Las Vegas Raiders, that the Seattle Seahawks are up, and his college offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, is there, and they find a replacement or eventual replacement for Geno Smith? That'd be a perfect fit for him.
Yeah, Geno turns 34 in October. You've talked about it. His deal is up after the 2025 season, so there is a progression there. All right, Rick, let's talk some bold predictions before we get out of here and truly get our minds focused on this draft. Cannot get here soon enough. Give me your bold prediction for this draft, 8 p.m. Eastern tonight.
I am going to say that 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. And you're hearing all the draft rumors right now. You know Caleb Williams is to Chicago. You know that Jaden Daniels is going to the Commanders. You know Drake May is going to number 3, whether that's the Minnesota Vikings or the New England Patriots. McCarthy, in my opinion, would go to, if Minnesota moves up to 3 and New England moves down to 11, that's where J.J. McCarthy. I have Penix going 13 to the Raiders, and then if Denver moves back in the first round and accumulate more picks, I could see them, instead of taking Bo Nix at 12, coming back at the bottom of the first to come get Bo Nix, because I think he'll still be sitting there.
And shout out to producer Stryker. If you read the fine print there, Rick. If Spencer Rattler goes in round 1, Rick donates $1,000 to the charity of Emory Hunt's choice. That would, in fact, be quite wild. So this feels like the order in which they come off the board too.
Yes.
Okay, I think so. Unless, of course, 12 Bo Nix, Denver. Then things get sort of fun. All right. Here's my bowl prediction, Rick. And this is by way of my mock draft, which, as I think about it, I hate more and more as we get closer to the actual draft. I had Brock Bowers falling, not because he's not a great player, but because he plays a position where it's been undervalued, and there's been a run on other positions in this mock draft that I went through. So he is somehow there at 31. He gets past the Bengals. I talked to someone in the league that thinks that if the Bengals have a choice between a right tackle and Brock Bowers, they're going to go right tackle. So I had him picking Amarius Mims. So he somehow lasts till pick 31. And instead of allowing the Chiefs to get him, the Carolina Panthers come up 2 spots to get Brock Bowers and help Bryce Young. Grade that bowl prediction.
I like that.
There we go.
So if he's fallen down that far, there'll be a lot of teams trying to get up ahead to come get them. In San Francisco, I mean, I could see them potentially moving out if someone gives them something that's worthwhile. And, Carolina, I mean, to move up 2 spots, I don't think that would cost them much.
Right.
But to come and add Brock Bowers to help Bryce Young, I think that would be a huge, bold prediction and bold move.
Yeah, Hayden Hurst didn't work out last year. None of the receivers got open. So I'll ask you this quickly before we get out of here. Brock Bowers, Xavier Worthy, Ladd McConkey. If you're Dave Canales, who best fits what you want to do with the 33 range?
Give me those again.
We have 30 seconds. Xavier Worthy, Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers. Who do you want?
Brock Bowers. He's the best player on our board. I mean, that's not a very intelligent question. Wouldn't you follow your draft board when you stack these guys in Brock Bowers high on your draft board, that you would take the best player?
I'm going to leave that question until after the draft tonight, and we'll discuss that. With the first pick, you can catch us live